would like to do a special welcome to a few hubs that we have here today, who are not only building capacities themselves, but who are also helping to build capacities of others. Because as we are doing this for the Digital Innovation Hub population, in the meanwhile, we have our work package 3 that is who are focusing on capacity building for our innovation experiments. And for them, there are a couple of hubs who are actually training them. So today we have hubs here on board who are doing actually both, training themselves and training others, which is fantastic. And some of them who are training are actually also part of the Spring Sprint. So for instance, Lars, who's the panel speaker today, will also be a coach during the 4th week of our Spring Sprint. Same for Rebecca. She's going to be a coach during the upcoming week on business modeling. And Stavros, who is also a trainer for our SmartAgriHubs innovation experiments, is also going to be a moderator and a coach during the financing week. So there's the connections there. I want to go on to the panel for today. So about half an hour, we're gonna discuss amongst these experts why it is so important to future-proof and create a sustainable hub through capacity building. Our panel speakers for today, well, I think Doris is a well-known name to everyone, but welcome, Doris. Doris works for the European Commission in the DG Agri, and she focuses, for instance, a lot on the digitalization of agriculture, which explains her engagement and involvement with SmartAgriHubs. Our second panel speaker is Lars Horsholt Jensen, and Lars is the Chief Operating Officer of the Food and Bio Cluster in Denmark, which is a huge cluster focusing on a wide variety of innovation programs. So Lars himself is very experienced in innovation programs and is really an expert on, for instance, business model innovation. We're also very happy to welcome Maurits Butter from TNO. He is a senior expert in the field of industrial innovation, and he is specialized in orchestrating innovation. And in that role, he's a well-known figure European-wide on the development of digital innovation hubs. So also happy to have you there. And Frank Berkers, who will be our moderator for today, is the leader of the capacity building work package of SmartAgriHubs, a senior scientist also at TNO. And you are founder of the initiative of orchestrating innovation, with which you have, now have a lot of experience in training around topics such as these. So welcome everyone. I'm now going to also stop sharing my screen, so we can go on to the panel. And I'd like to give the word to you, Frank.
Thank you very much. Welcome also to the panelists. We prepared a nice set of statements to help the discussion. Is my audio okay?
Yes, it's fine. Thank you.
Good. So, say some basic rules related to the panel discussion. So statement and give a little bit of explanation, and I'm going to ask the panelists to respond on that. I will give the word primarily to one of the participants at first, but the other panelists are of course welcome to complement or to disagree with previous remarks made. The statements are really based on the experience we built in working with digital innovation hubs. So I will also set my alarm clock 10 minutes for each of the statements to discuss. And the first statement is, for running a digital innovation hub, you need to be hyper versatile. And Lars, I'm going to give this one to you to see how you think about that. For running a digital innovation hub, you need to be hyper versatile. We have observed that digital innovation hubs are in a nexus, working with governments, working with corporates, working with startups, working with education institutes, and the leader of a digital innovation hub is probably going to need to speak all of those, say, languages. Lars, do you agree with this statement? And what do you recognize or what do you not recognize?
I recognize the need to be versatile. And I think I try to think about this going into this session, thinking about what is versatility and what does that in fact mean in a digital innovation hub or in any basically endeavor dealing with innovation. One of the things I also always focus on is people, looking at how do people interact and when we're talking about versatility, we're really talking about, first of all, a mindset, a basic curiosity and understanding what are the challenges when you're dealing with the customers in front of you, when you're dealing with the companies in front of you, an honest curiosity and an eagerness to understand their challenges and what they need to achieve and what they're trying to achieve in the marketplace or technology-wise. So attached to that are, of course, individual people with individual skills, individual competences, and individual backgrounds, and also a set of tools that we can provide to our people to manage that area that they're in. But people, when you're talking about being a digital innovation hub, DIH, people are permanent to some extent. People have a limited set of competences, a certain mindset, a certain set of tools that they are used to working with and operating with. And what it really comes down to is how can we constantly challenge and develop those people, and how can we make sure that they have the right mindset? Because at the end of the day, that goes both inwards and outwards. It goes inwards towards my own eagerness to learn new things, to adapt to changing conditions, to changing market environments, and so on. But it also goes outwards. The things that are more also difficult to change basically are the physical infrastructures that we have access to. Digital innovation hubs are different in many ways. We are very much an access point. So we don't have ourselves a lot of testing facilities or technology infrastructure that we need to maintain. But I know that is different for different hubs across Europe. And a major challenge is in a digital space, in any technology space, is that the development is so rapid that if you have any test or environment, if you have any demonstration environment available to you, that is a constant burden to keep that updated to changing technology trends and even to changing market conditions. The final thing I want to mention was at the very offset of SmartAgriHub, I think we also noticed this focus on productivity as the main core driver of innovation within this space of agri, and we come at it from the point of view that productivity is important, but the other thing that is less important, which is the one I'm an expert in, or assessed as less important in the early stages of this project at least, the business modeling, the understanding of how this impacts my strategy. We always approach, even though we know and understand that companies mostly crave productivity and optimization of productivity. When I talk about curiosity and I talk about challenging yourself and the companies you're with, you're really talking about trying to use both at the same time, trying to say, I accept and understand that productivity is important to you, but we want to address that in a number of different ways. And I want to be flexible in my mindset of how I approach that. So really, when you're talking about versatility, it's versatility in people's minds, first of all, the ability to continuously understand and update yourself on the environment that you're in, the ecosystem you're in. So I think it's very true, but it has a lot more to do with people's minds and people's mindsets than it has to do with a number of other factors. So that was my thoughts initially on this topic. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lars. Very, very interesting remarks that you made. The mindset, and I think we refer to this as the leadership of the Digital Innovation Hub. So the attitude. I do recognize the curiousness that you mentioned also in working with you, but also with some other say leading digital innovation hubs. They are constantly curious for learning more, learning better, because in the end, the Digital Innovation Hub is quite a complex, what we call business-like organization. And I think the business-like is also quite emphasized in the courses that we offer. I'd like to give the word to Doris. Doris, so we position Digital Innovation Hubs as a business-like organization with this new mindset. Do you recognize that from the Digital Innovation Hubs that you have observed or have been working with? Or is it predominantly, say, project orientation or program orientation? How do you perceive that development?
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you for the question. So maybe I would like to come back to Lars first, if you allow me to do so. So first of all, I think all the statements you made I support. I would like to add 2 points to the original statement on being hyper versatile and the you. So I think I would like to add 2 aspects here. I think it's not one person running the Digital Innovation Hub. I think it's quite important that we think in the capacities of the team running Digital Innovation Hub. For sure, there is an overall responsibility, but if I think about running a Digital Innovation Hub, then I would think in the team, and the overall capacities of the team need to be flexible to respond not only to innovation and innovative solutions, but also, for instance, to changing, let's say, framing conditions in the ecosystem, in the regulatory environment. So there are many and multiple factors. And the second point is I would probably tend to delete the hyper. Or leave out the hyper, and for one simple reason. So I would probably say to a Digital Innovation Hub, if you have objectives, you should not that easily change the objectives or question the objectives. I would always first recommend to look at the ways to achieve them, whether you can change the action lines, for instance, but not the overall objectives. So that is why I would propose to, let's say, leave out the hyper and to encourage the Digital Innovation Hubs to still, let's say, really reflect before changing objectives, because it's quite normal that you fail if you try to be innovative, or that you have, let's say, challenges where you are really say, okay, can I meet them or not? And I would always recommend to first, let's say, see whether I can change and adjust the action lines, and then question the objectives and really reflect on it. And as regards the second question, project or business, I think it's a both. I think you start with a project attitude and you aim for maintaining and developing a business line. So because I see you have an innovative solution, which might be the result of a project. You try to, let's say, build up the ecosystem, let's say, to deploy and upscale the innovation and to achieve a business case on the medium and long term. So that would be my ideal, let's say, development path for a Digital Innovation Hub. Thank you.
Frank, you're muted.
Yes, thank you, Doris. This was really a wonderful remark. I think you are encouraging digital innovation hubs to stick with the plan and not be say become totally fickle whenever you ever meet unsuccessful results or disappointing results. I think that's really an encouraging and calming message, actually. With respect to time, I'm going to move to the second statement. The second statement is future-proofing a digital innovation hub means constantly adapting the digital innovation hub. Yes, and this one I'd like to address to you, Doris, so you can continue in the word. The explanation of this future-proofing a digital innovation hub is in both ways. So we see digital innovation hubs grow over time. So you already mentioned that the composition of the team is important, a gradual shift from project orientation to a business-like orientation. But also another reason for being adaptive would be that the outside world is changing. So the contents, for instance, of the European Commission's programs are changing. The concept of the digital innovation and concept centers becomes more known. Digitization and agriculture are continuously intertwining. So a lot of external developments that actually do also cause to be a little bit adaptive. Do you agree with the statement, and how would you add to that?
Yes, thank you again. So I think some important points have already been made in the previous round. So first, I would probably refer to, if I would be in the role of the Digital Innovation Hub, to future-proofed, to become future-proof, because future-proofing, that would be my role as a reviewer, for instance. The second point, which is quite important here, and there Lars made an important statement. What is, let's say, the key or the key element of a digital innovation hub? Is it the hardware or the software? And let's say the ecosystem. And here I would say the key capabilities which need to be, let's say, adaptable and flexible for being future-proofed is the software. The hardware we can probably not that easily change at the lifetime of a digital innovation hub. But it's really about the software and the capacities to respond to innovative solutions developed elsewhere, governmental decisions, and the evolving, let's say, ecosystem and the needs of the ecosystem, opportunities which may arise, to be flexible also to them. And what does that imply in practice? The Digital Innovation Hub needs to have the capacities to constantly and really plan for it, to assess the environmental conditions. What is the framing environment? So if a Digital Innovation Hub would not have the capacities to assess the environment constantly and really proactively, then I think it would be challenged to be, let's say, future-proofed. So that is a very important point for me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Doris. Wonderful. So the capacity to assess the ecosystem and the environment. Maurits, you have seen a lot of digital innovation hubs in different domains, and some of them over probably even more than a decade. What do you do to support the evolution and the adaptation of digital innovation hubs? And have you seen maybe some interesting examples of adaptation that you can share with us?
Yeah, thank you, Frank. It's wonderful. By the way, it's wonderful to be here to have a discussion like this. I think this is a very good discussion to just have an open discussion about these things. And I think the digital innovation hubs are a very young area of development. That's an important problem, I would say, but also, of course, the opportunity to further grow. what I've seen in looking at the evolution and adaptive, I think adaptive is very important. You need to build it in your own hub, and but I've seen growth in, for example, MTC, the Manufacturing Technology Center, but also there's a hub in the Ghent area with in collaboration with IMEC and the university. It always begins at a certain critical mass of people that are working together that are not yet fully exploiting the concept of a digital innovation hub. And then it's a kind of a growth which is quite natural. But what is crucial to to getting the full potential of a digital innovation hub is that you, from the first start, think about the future. And that has to do with the services that you develop in order to get towards the customers. In the beginning, there are totally different services that you can provide than the end. But if you do not anticipate on that future, so if you do not on a constant periodic in a periodic way challenge yourself, okay, this is the future, we're now here in T1, but we're getting to T10 and then we're going to change, then you cannot anticipate and you're running behind the show every single time. So it's a crucial thing to think in jumps, but to act in steps. And that combination of looking at the future and trying to find out what you need to do tomorrow and anticipate on that, that's a crucial thing. And that's very often forgotten because you're running with the daily show of operating a hub.
Thank you, Maurits. Lars, I see you nodding to the things that Maurits says. Can you elaborate? And I'm also next to that curious if you share your ecosystem view with say your stakeholders or vice versa, because you're all in the same ecosystem and you know the context is the same context. So how do you deal with that?
I think that I just wanted to touch upon a few points because I think it's very right to distinguish between some constants and some adaptability, because I think a total adaptability across the board in an organization of whatever size is impossible to achieve. So it's setting the bar too high. So I completely agree with. I think Doris said it, that the distinguishment between what is the responsibility of the leadership. So a firmness in objectives to understand that we need to stay the course in terms of what we want to achieve, our value proposition to our customers, and to the, let's call it culture, the things I was talking about mindset, about understanding that it is a changing world, it is a changing environment, and we need to adapt our tools, activities, and services to that changing environment. But we need to stay firm on objectives and our core value proposition. But the route to that, achieving that, can change and can and should change over time. And then I think I agree very much with Maurits, who says, foreseeing the future or forecasting the future is a constant need that we need to have, because what is it we're doing as digital innovation hubs? We're trying to help reduce complexity. So we need to stay ahead of complexity in order to help companies reduce complexity and provide a clarity and choices that is, not achieved by us telling them. We don't have the capability to predict every future for every company, but we have a capability to stay ahead of trends, to stay on top of trends, to understand technology, to understand changing market conditions. I know even for over the last couple of years, if you look at what has happened to the market and what kind of ups and downs have happened and what we were talking about last year and what we're talking about this year, it's a completely different landscape. And I don't think we were able to predict how that would impact market conditions, customers in the market. But, being able to adapt your services and your tools to that environment is so important. But staying on the course in terms of objectives, in terms of a culture of curiosity, if you like. Yeah.
Thank you, Lars. I have a little bit of background noise. Actually, it's becoming foreground noise. So briefly switch off.
It's okay, Frank. We still can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Lars, for the comments. The time ran out, so we move on to the third statement. And Maurits, I will direct this one to you. So buckle up. And the statement is: when time is limited, doing business is prioritized over learning. From the perspective of a digital innovation hub. And so we already discussed that there's a lot of developments in the context of a digital innovation hub. And the learning that we facilitate in SmartAgriHubs is more of a strategic nature, of a capability that will return in the longer run. But yeah, every now and then the daily agenda becomes really prioritized. Do you see that in your other practices as well? And how can digital innovation hubs, as well as we ourselves, deal with that, to balance that?
Well, oh yes. I think the learning is always such a problem to do it in a structural way. It also always falls down from the table flat on the floor when you need to do the learning, because your daily activities are taking over. You need to do that. But it is so important to keep on learning, that we have a young, and it's not only because the principle of learning, of course, is an important, but we are, as digital innovation hubs, we are a young concept. We learn every single time. I've been involved in the digital innovation hubs from, let's say, 2012 on, and it's established in 2016. And I learn all the time, but it's always a steep learning that I do every single time. And you can see my background. My background is like that. It's still a chaos, and learning is crucial to get that going. So, but learning also has different sides. What is important for the learning is to keep your personnel, keep the people that are there. And what I see nowadays is that the shortage of people is crucial. We have a problem now today at this moment in the Netherlands because there are no people to operate a tunnel. So there's a whole traffic jam out there. That mechanism is also applicable for digital innovation hubs. You need to train your people. You need to set up learning. So that's but it's a complex thing, and we tend to have learning as an intangible element. You still have some people that are learning on the job. Yeah, sure, but those leave, and that's a problem. They leave, and then you're out there with nothing. So you need to get it into a tangible mode. And that's a crucial element. So just because of the sake of time, just some concrete advices. I would say that two elements that are key. One is plan your activities very well at the beginning and get someone to be responsible for that planning. If you do it up front, then someone can get the people, look, you need to learn. If you don't do that, and you need to have this time slot to learn. If you don't do that, it will be out. There's also an opportunity with the peer learning community. Take your time to organize a peer learning exchange community. Use a WhatsApp group to just, look, guys, ladies, I've learned this today. If you organize it like that, that's important. Tools. Try to get the things that you learn into tools, because then it's getting from the intangible to the tangible. Then you can have new people that are learning by using those tools, using manuals. So make it more tangible. That's a very important. The second larger element, get a training program to provide trainings to your customers. Because setting up a training program is you need, I'm not a training expert. So I train, but I'm not didactically educated. So if you have that kind of partners developing within your hub a training course, that helps enormously to also organize the training for your own organization. That's a crucial element to do. And that's perhaps that's what we learn with, we are now setting up a full-fledged mentoring program within the Bowie project. We use those experts to set up the mentoring program. So experts in the stuff itself, but also experts in making very good trainings. And that's where the training partner comes in. I think that's...
Yeah, thank you, Maurits. It's very useful advice, I think. Specifically, the last bit to consider yourselves also as a trainer, educating not only your colleagues, but also your stakeholders and customers. Doris, if I may ask you, so we consider now the tension between the shorter and longer term. How do you perceive that from your position? How should digital innovation hubs behave, specifically the younger ones with not a lot of maturity yet, while meeting quite professional and high level expectations from the projects that we are supporting them with and expecting them to deliver on?
Yes, thank you for the question. So first of all, I think the previous statements made already are quite important and quite essential. I think if I look at the younger, let's say, and in comparison to the more mature digital innovation hubs, I don't see a big difference. So the need for learning, because we are in the field of innovation, is essential for both the young digital innovation hubs and the older ones. Because if we are in the, let's say, field of innovation, and our business case is to develop and deploy and scale up innovation and bring it to the market, we have to be ready to always learn. And that is both at the level of the digital innovation hub and at the level of the individual persons being in the team of the Digital Innovation Hub, and importantly, as just mentioned, also at the level of the customers. So meaning, if a business, and even if it's already a business and not, let's say, a Digital Innovation Hub on the way to becoming a business, even then, if you sell innovative solutions, you have to be ready to learn the lessons and take the lessons learned into consideration in the further developing the business. Otherwise, the business risks to be short-sighted and not sustainable. You might, and here I would like to come back to the original statement, which you make, and actually you said prioritize business in comparison to learning. There I would simply say, no, this statement I would challenge, because that I would reject. So particularly if you come to prioritization, a business, if you would make it on the short term, risks to be not sustainable in the long term if you would prioritize business in comparison to learning. Because in the field of innovation, you have to be constantly ready to learn at the level of the Digital Innovation Hub, at the level of the team members of the Digital Innovation Hub, and capacity building on the side of the customers. And I think if you ask the difference between, let's say, starting innovation hubs and let's say more mature digital innovation hubs, then for sure peer review, which can be sought by the, let's say, younger digital innovation hubs, by the help of the more mature digital innovation hubs, that can help in addition for the younger ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Doris. Maybe in the meanwhile, you heard my watch beep. So again, we are out of time. Nevertheless, the panelists, Lars, Maurits, thank you for your useful insights. my conclusion of this little panel discussion today is that being a digital innovation hub is actually a large set of complexities, a large set of dilemmas. On the one hand, being versatile but not being hyper versatile. Pay attention to the composition of the team. It's also the dilemma between being project oriented and being business-like oriented, the dilemma of being short-term oriented and longer-term oriented, sticking to the plan while being adaptive. So there's a lot of dilemmas in the life of a digital innovation hub, and I think it is in the nature of the digital innovation hub, and it's okay to struggle with that. That is why it requires so much of your leadership. So dealing with these dilemmas, but I think the most important thing to understand is that you're not alone in dealing with these dilemmas, and learning from your peers is a useful way to think about it, to learn and see good and bad examples and move on together. Am I still here? Yeah. With that, I'd like to conclude the panel discussion. Again, thanking the panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Caroline, we cannot hear you. I'm not aware why. No. But if I'm not mistaken, we would like to show the people how one of our tools actually in SmartAgriHubs and how we are supporting peer exchange in the LXP platform that we have. Am I correct, Caroline? Yes. Good. Then I will take over from this part. So we heard that it's important that we communicate internally within the Digital Innovation Hub so that we learn, and also with other Digital Innovation Hubs, and that's actually the peer exchange and communication program that we have in SmartAgriHubs and what we are doing today. And I just wanted to show you how we are supporting this with some tools. Caroline, I would share my screen if you don't mind. Quickly here. So how do you get into the learning and exchange platform that we have? You start from the SmartAgriHubs website. So if you go to the SmartAgriHubs website and you sign in, you're going to get into our main page, and under tools, if you're registered as a Digital Innovation Hub, you're going to see the LXP platform button. You click on the button and you're going to be redirected to, I'm sorry, I have to now show you to this login screen. If you are already registered in our LXP platform, then you can just log in with your credentials. But if you are not, there is a nice button here that says New Here. And if you click on it, you can register via your email, and you just select a password. So it's very easy. So once you're actually registered, you're going to be redirected to a button which says public courses, and our two public courses in SmartAgriHubs are the Digital Innovation Hub Exchange program and the Proposal Writing for Digital Innovation Hubs. You're welcome to join both of them. We really encourage you to join both of them. But for the sake of today, we are actually focusing on the Digital Innovation Hubs Exchange program. So you click on the small arrow and you're enrolled. Congratulations. You're now part of the platform, and you can view all the materials and actually share and communicate with the Digital Innovation Hubs that are part of this program. So once you click on it, you're going to see that we actually have quite a few modules or learning experiences here. And the first 3 are currently open. The first one is just a cafe and introduction, so that you can introduce yourself. You can get familiar a little bit of the program. I'm going to show it in a minute. The maturity assessment for digital innovation hubs. Here you can find some tips on how to do a maturity assessment if you have not yet done it. We have a tool in SmartAgriHubs that helps you benchmark your services and their maturity with other digital innovation hubs, and maybe point you to areas where you might want to develop or decide not to develop, depending on your strategy. And our first module that is going to be held this week on business models and strategy. Just to show you how the platform works, because I'm not going to take a lot of your time, I'm going to go to the cafe because it's the fun part. So when you click here, you can see that we have a few things that are included as different materials. We have a small video welcoming you to the platform that you can see. There is a small explanation of what the Digital Innovation Hub Exchange is about, why is it important to exchange, and also an opportunity for you to introduce yourself. So if you click on this, you're going to be sent to this nice platform where you can already see that some digital innovation hubs and participants have introduced themselves. You can see here Frank, who has added even a picture of himself. And we encourage you to do this. It's going to take you really a minute or so to just click on the plus. You can add your picture or your logo of the Digital Innovation Hub. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where is the hub? What is its focus? What is your role in the Digital Innovation Hub? That helps others to also gather a little bit of a view of your background. And you could see that for each of the elements, we have also included a small question, and you can have a chat. So you can chat with people, submit your comment, and then people could respond to you. So we're going to be using this platform in the next few weeks, and we would be very happy to see your comments and your contributions. To go back, you very quickly click on the X and then back to levels. And that's from my side. You can do this for currently the maturity assessment and the business models. And next week, we're going to open the module on financing of digital innovation hubs. The week after on marketing and engagement. Lastly, beginning of June, we are going to open the module on business planning for digital innovation hubs. And in the end, we would like to thank you for your participation. So that's from my side.
Christina, thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank God, thank God. But did you still also want to say something about the registration, Christina?
Yes. So for the registration, you can do it via the SmartAgriHubs website. So if you go to the SmartAgriHubs website under Tools, you click the LXP, and then there is this part of you're new to the tool. Or alternatively, when Caroline shares the slides of today, you're also going to see directly the link so that you can click on that. And I'm also going to publish it on the chat here so that you have it in your records easily accessible.
That is excellent. Thank you, Christina. And this is indeed especially mentioned for you to get a feel of what that platform is and what you can find on it. And indeed, as Christina mentioned, we will have a sequence of 4 weeks in which the main pillars on the platform, so business modeling, finance, financing, marketing, and business planning, will consequently be dealt with. And how that is going to take place, we're going to tell you more about, and we're going to pitch those topics with the moderator and coach teams after the speed dating session that we're going to have. So I'm going to share my screen again with you. Well, this is what we just heard from Christina, and also I'll just give you, because you have all received the link from us as well to registering for this platform. So this is the registration that Christina talked about, and we will send you this later on. on how this works. So then you see, and this is what you saw before. So this is our online platform where there's loads and loads of materials, videos, interviews, and things that you can work with. And especially that mechanism that Christina showed of chatting at the right-hand side, that is where you have the peer learning take place. The good thing is that you can do it in your own time. Today is actually meant as a kickoff for the upcoming sprint weeks. And what we want to tell you more about now is what that actually is about and what you can expect there. So I'm going to first share my screen for an introduction to that. So we designed actually the spring sprints to really give you a dedicated time slot to go through the capacity building material that is there. You know, this is just an excellent moment right before we go into the summer period and then go into rounding off the project to really do this in a very highly engaged way. So what, oh, I see there's a lot of, that wasn't really my end. So what does this whole spring sprint entail? Well, today we have the kickoff event to really, you know, get to know each other and set the stage also for the importance of capacity building, which the panel was also about this morning. And right at noon, actually, the business modeling week will commence. This whole week will evolve around business modeling. Our moderators will do a pitch on it in just a moment, what you can expect during the coming week. So your team there is Frank Berkers, Rebecca Tegmeijer, and Alexander Berlin, but they'll introduce also in a moment. So this is the first week of our spring sprint. The second week, moderated and coached by Stavros Tsikouras, Ahmad Issa, and Lucas Sawinski, is our financing week, where you as a hub will learn all the perks around financing. In the third week, we will have the marketing week, which is, I will be one of your moderators together with Agustin Terrado Jimenez from Capter and Dolores Ordóñez from a hub that we work a lot with on the Balearic Islands. And very experienced with marketing. And in the final week, we'll have Livia, Christina, and Lars hosting your business planning week, where we kind of bring together what has happened during the previous weeks. And of course, if you have worked your way through it, you all deserve a graduation, which is why on June 10th, and the invites will follow very soon, we'll have an online event together, which is all about celebrating the finale of the spring. So what may you expect from us during these 4 weeks? Well, during each week, you have a highly engaged moderator team present for you, and that topical champion hub. So a champion hub that is experienced in that topic, who will be present for you during that week. As the platform can be done, it's in your own time and in your own moment. So it's their online availability, but you know, they will be checking what's going on. If you have questions, if you have comments, and this team is available for you. Each Friday of 1 week, we will open up the second week, and then the new moderator team and Topical Champion Hub will take over. Each week there will be one peer exchange session, as most of you are now familiar with. You know, sitting together, wrapping up, talking, discussing. You will be receiving the invites from your moderator teams for this wrap-up session. That will be each Friday morning at the end of the topic week. So just to check in, exchange, talk about what you've seen during the week. Also, every Wednesday, there's a check-in. That's not obliged. You don't have to check in if you feel you don't need to, but for sure your moderator team and coaches will be present during that time slot, just with Teams open to help you if you have a question, if you have a remark during that week. So it's those are moments for you just to have a to make a connection to your moderator team in a more direct way rather than the virtual way. Also, your moderators will invite you to that. So what do we then expect from you in that sense? Well, we defined some milestones per week. The first 2 milestones are the same for every week. To please read and download the content and watch the videos. And also to provide at least one comment or question, just as Christina showed earlier how that works. And what is different for each week is one particular exercise that you hear more from in the pitches. So we'd love for you to interactively exchange with peers. You know, if you are on the platform and someone says has a question or remarks something, it would be just great to respond to that. Like I said, this can all be done in your own time, and it's not that much. I know it sounds like download all the content videos, but most videos are maybe about 15 minutes per week. So actually a lot can be done in maybe like 1.5 hours, 2 hours a week. You know, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, but it's not a lot. That's how we designed it, of course, because we all know that you're very, very busy. So we made it in very realistic dosages for you to go through it. So we hope you find the time each week to engulf in that topic. And for those achieving the milestones, we have a diploma for you to be handed over on June 10th. So I would now like to invite the moderator and coaching teams to do short pitches of what that week is really about. And for the first week, Frank, I think I'm going to hand over the word to you. Am I correct?
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And in the meanwhile, everyone, in the meanwhile, I'm going to, after each pitch, put a little poll in the chat for us to get a bit of an idea who we may expect during those weeks. So, but I'll do that after your pitch. Go ahead, Frank.
Thank you, Caroline. As you know, as work package leader on the Digital Innovation Hub capacity building, I'm super stoked that this this peer exchange, this learning, this spring sprint is actually kicking off today. I'm also honored to moderate the week of the business models, which is my main expertise actually here at TNO. So this week about business models and strategy for digital innovation hubs. What can you expect from this? The business model has become actually a key strategizing tool for innovation hubs and other organizations. It's the summary of how your digital innovation hub will create and capture value by innovation. And it is the idea that you will detail along the way. So it's the overarching compass, if you like. After this course, you know what is special about the business model of a digital innovation hub and of your digital innovation hub. You will be able to design your digital innovation hub's business model, and you will specifically understand the choices in that design of the business model. So in the course, which is also shown on screen already, we offer a very rich set of examples, videos, tools. Just dive in and go deep wherever you want. So it's the mixture of topics that we offer in this, and you can just browse over them, and some of them you find interesting, just dive in a little bit deeper. There's one final assignment, it's number 15, which we require you to fill out. It is the design of your Digital Innovation Hub's business model. And it will be looked at from the moderating team. The moderating team is actually myself, clearly, but also Rebecca Techmeyer. She is of AgriHub. She is experienced in supporting several digital innovation hubs, and also the champion participant is Alexander Berlin, and he is leading the hub on the European Agriculture Ecosystem Navigator. Also very much experienced in digital innovation hub and business models. So you have a stellar team that can help you go through this material. So business models is basically the key compass which you use to fill out all the other details of your organization. So feel welcome to join in on the Business Models Week starting already today. That's it.
Okay, good. Thanks. So there is there's a poll now in the chat, and this one is about the Business Modeling Week. So if you would like to please fill that in.
I filled it out myself as well.
Good, good.
Count me in, I said.
Good. Okay, Christina, just in the meanwhile, I sent you an app about the next poll, so please, if you want to check that for a moment. I'm going to go back to my screen to go to the second pitch group. Yes, please, go ahead.
So hello, everyone. Ahmad Issa here. I'm going to introduce to you the second module that we have, which is financing of digital innovation hubs. As you as digital innovation hubs know, the financing is usually a patchwork of different sources of income, investments, and costs. And what we're trying in this module is to provide you with some high-level information on how digital innovation hubs themselves, as an initiative, can be financed and what are the elements that can be considered. So we have structured this module into basically three main sections. So the module supports the digital innovation hubs in order to develop their financing by providing them with three main things: a structure, and this structure basically how your digital innovation hubs can look at your the finance, including detailed slides, including an interview, including tips and financing resources types. We have also a digital innovation hub, a champion digital innovation hub, that shared their experience and how they have structured and evolved their financing mix, including some suggestions based on their experience. We have also provided templates and exercises, so some tips on pitching the Digital Innovation Hub idea to different financing institutions and partners, and template to help the Digital Innovation Hub to map the service funding matrix, to build this as part of your pitching. Our team of moderators would be a colleague, Stavros Tsitouras from Biosense, would be myself, and a champion digital innovation hub, Lukas Lewinsky from Poland. So I hope you join us for this week, for this module that will start on the 23rd of May.
Thank you so much, Ahmed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So as I cannot see it, is there a poll coming up in the chat?
No, Caroline, unfortunately, no. I have a problem with this. For some reason, I cannot start it.
Ah, okay. Sorry?
we can just enter a 1 for count me in, enter a 2, the topic is not so relevant for me, and 3, that week is hard for me, I hope to do it another time. So we're talking about the second week from now, next week, that is.
On the 23rd of May, yes.
1, count me in. 2, the topic is not so relevant for me. Or 3, that week is hard for me. Just enter through the chat.
Thank you, Frank. Meanwhile, I'll set up the pitch for the marketing week, which I will do myself, as I'm going to be one of your hosts. But thanks to the team at Cupter, Cayetano and Agustin, to support me in preparing this. So what can you expect in week 3 from the 30th of May to June 3, when we're going to talk about marketing and engagement? So here you see an idea of the week, but this is just an example. This is just kind of to make a bit of structure around what you can expect during that week. We have an introduction on marketing and engagement and how do you do that as a hub and why is it relevant. And with that, we have an interview with Dolores Ordóñez from the Digital Innovation Hub on the Balearics. And one of the things they're focusing on is digitalization to connect Agri and tourism. Very interesting. And Dolores, it would surprise me if you would not know her because she positions her hub so well internationally, doing so much on marketing. So that's why she is also our champion hub for that week. You will also find inspiration from other projects, such as the DNet project that had a very interesting presentation on marketing of your hub. So we added that content on the platform too. And for you, just a stepwise way to make your own marketing and engagement plan. We have, of course, the check-in session, as I mentioned earlier, and we also have an assignment on establishing the why, your purpose as a hub yourself. What is your reason of being? Because that is actually where your marketing message starts and your story starts. So we'll have an assignment for you on that. There's already content in there from another hub who already did the assignment, so please check it out. Then, the week is about marketing and engagement. So how do you really engage with your important target groups? It's not only sending out your story, but it's also creating a relationship. So we also have content for you on how to innovate together with farmers, for instance, and also how to segment your target groups, such as farmers, but also your important other target groups. How do you really recognize them and engage with them on a personal level? And that also links to the final part of this week is how do you go from just having contacts to having ambassadors for your hub and really create that network. And on the final day, you will be wrapping up. I see, by the way, 2 hours, but that'll be a 1-hour session. So this whole week is really about finding your purpose and how to make this known to the world in an engaging way and really setting a name for yourself and turning your network into ambassadors. And your team for that week will be Agustin, Dolores, and myself. And then also we have milestones also comparable to the ones of the weeks earlier. And the special assignment for that week is that why assignment. It's just 1 page, but it really invites you to think about your purpose. And here below is already a why that was filled in by a Digital Innovation Hub from the Netherlands, the World Hertie Center. So Frank, would you like to repeat again options 1, 2, and 3?
Yes. So this is about the 3rd week of the course. Number 1 is count me in. 2 is the topic is not so relevant. Or number 3, that week is hard for me to free up and participate in the course.
As I say, we're doing this poll not necessarily for a popularity contest, but more for us, for all the moderator teams, to get a good overview of who we may expect or who we maybe should contact another moment.
Yeah. So in the corner of my eye, I see that some people are having say problems with the timing. So.
Okay, well, that's also very good for us to know, because then we can reach out to you to maybe see what we can do. So thank you. Okay, let's go on then to the final week.
Here we are. Good morning, everyone. So the final week will be about the business planning for digital innovation hubs. What you will find in the course, basically an overview of the different elements that you will be need for drafting your business plan, and the module includes several resources you can go through. Next slide, please, Caroline. So the course, of course, will start with an introduction video explaining you what a business plan is in a nutshell, and giving you the overview of what you will find in the course. There are resources, meaning interviews, publication, presentation, webinars you will be able to watch and read. There will be a business template plan, and there will be different exercises you will be asked to do, which are the first one is a SWOT analysis to be done, and a business plan. Don't be scared, because for each exercise you will have all the resources available, and together with Christina and with Lars, we will be there to support you, to guide you. As Caroline was mentioning in the beginning, there will be milestones. Next slide, please. The first one, we really warmly invite you to read all the materials, to watch all the videos you will find in the session, then to provide with comments, ask your questions. Do not hesitate to do that. Be as more active as possible, and to share your exercise about the SWOT analysis and your business plan. And then there will be the award ceremony, so time to celebrate to close the week.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That's thank you.
Yes, that's true. That will be then indeed. Thank you, Olivia. But let's first go to the polling.
So indeed, week number 4 about business planning from 6th to June 10th. Number 1, count me in. Number 2, the topic is not so relevant. Number 3, that week is hard for me to free up and participate. I think somebody's mobile is making over
really
hours.
popular though. A really popular person.
I think it's all the replies in the
it's
chat that we
chat.
get, which is a good thing. We get quite a lot of replies.
Of course.
All right.
Are there any more? Yeah, super. If we come on, these are the pitches for the 4 weeks. Are there any questions currently around these 4 weeks, the content? Are you all okay? Okay.
Maybe it's a good thing. Oh, you are muted. Quest, I think you're muted. Yeah, go ahead. Questa, did you have a question or?
I have a question. I already put it in the chat. I would like to invite maybe some of my colleagues to be part of the course. How they can access to the course?
Okay, thank you, and thank you for suggesting this. This is actually something I'm going to come back to in just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Please, as it's a bit because I cannot see you now as I'm sharing this presentation. Maybe leave your mail address. We have it, of course, but then just to be sure, and I'll make sure you get the correct links. But of course, you can invite people to join as well. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Caroline,
Yes.
there is another question. So with respect to the marketing, will there be sessions really every day? You have shown an ideal overview.
Yeah, no, good one. That's sorry, that may be a little bit confusing. No, there's two real live sessions, which is the check-in on the Wednesday, which is not obligatory. That's only that you know that the coaches will be really present in that moment. So if you open the link, you have people there. That's a check-in on the Wednesday. And the peer session on the Friday morning from 11 to 12. And that hour is actually the 1 hour of really being there. All the rest are just examples of how to maybe fill in your day to spend, let's say, 20 minutes, 30 minutes per day during the course. But those are not meetings.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that's clearer now. And you will be getting the invitations to that check-in moment and the peer exchange moment from your moderator teams.
Yeah. One question from my end, because I see also some three responses for the last week. So that week is not convenient for the persons. But we do have the graduation day in the end of the week. What are opportunities to pre-work or catch up on this content? Are there any? How do we deal with that?
Well, pre-work. That's because normally we would really open in sequence the week.
Yeah.
But maybe I can ask moderator team for week 4 how you think about doing this, because we're going to be flexible, of course. Let's make that clear. What do you think, Livia or Christina?
I can definitely also be there the week after, so I can just put one session for a checkup with the ones that are not there to also exchange on the topic the week after. So if that works, if you're on a longer summer holiday, we can just leave the module opened for a few weeks for you to self-study. Unfortunately, then we miss a little bit on the discussion between peers. But wow, summer is notoriously difficult.
Yeah. So I do like to emphasize though that it's we really stress that you keep the pace that we designed. This is based on actual experience with these social online learning platforms that we shouldn't keep in the open indefinitely. So in order to have really social engagement, so most of you chatting through the system and the moderators participating in an online discussion, it's really important not to keep it open indefinitely. So we can of course extend some time. Yes.
Ik heb gevraagd bij de receptie tot 12.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's not for us.
Ja, ik kan gewoon. Dankjewel.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, so we're keeping a bit of a rhythm in here, but of course, indeed, if someone needs a little more time, also know that we're gonna exchange with you really on a personal basis, via the platform. So if one of you wants to have another moment, that will all be fine. Of course, we have that graduation June 10th. That will be set. So maybe you can. It is possible for those who cannot make it during that week to be there, and otherwise, if you have done your things, then of course you will still get a diploma, even if you can't come to the graduation.
Yeah.
And there is a question about the final diploma. If they can get the final one, if one module will not be done.
Yeah. Basically, of course, we have these milestones which are quite doable per week. So we'll see a bit how we go. That is actually a baseline basis for getting the diploma. But we were also already talking about, because people maybe are on holiday or something like that. That for sure we'll have a degree of flexibility there.
Yeah, so do get in touch with us if you cannot make it in 1 week.
Yeah.
We'll sort that out.
Any more questions? In that case, I will.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just entered to the link that you sent me, but we need a username and a password.
Yes.
In the case for my colleagues, how they do it, they use my.
So on the bottom, you would see new arrival or new participant.
Yeah,
Click on it,
I
and then you fit in your
okay.
username and.
Yeah, I see it now. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe make sure to like connect with the different accounts, because yeah, it's intended to be a course with a diploma, so you cannot share the modules between colleagues.
Oh yes. Now I see the milestones on the screen, and some people asked if somebody, if a colleague could step in. So the reading of the materials and the provision of comments is actually tracked by the system that we use. So it's also important for us to merge if you and a colleague did all of that. Yeah,
just keep us informed, because actually you received a previous email from me last week on asking who of you was bringing a friend, and because we'd also we'd even like to applaud those who bring along people, and just if you do so, just please let us know via an email or using the chat in the system to let us know who you're bringing along, so we can see a bit who's doing what. So,
right.
Yeah, so talking about applauding, we will do so on June 10th. The event link you will receive very soon. You will get an official diploma if you achieve the milestones. And we will have an award show with different types of awards and rewards. So it's not only about having gone through the content, which is of course very important, but we'll also see, maybe a degree of interaction, etc. We will make sure that you will all be celebrated, and the morning will also consist of some inspiring testimonials of hubs who went through the program. So that's going to happen on June 10th to really wrap up together the Spring Sprint weeks. So with that, I would like to cut the ribbon and open the Spring Sprint. And actually, the business modeling week starts just now. So I would like to invite you all for sure to have a look. And your moderators will be sending out the links to join this week.
Yes, so do get in touch if you run into technical problems. That's the most important thing by now, and then just to dive into the content. So me and the moderating team for this week are standby and welcome you to participate.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you all for this morning. I'm very happy to have seen all of you here this morning. I hope you enjoyed this, and I really hope you will enjoy going through the content for the coming weeks. And with that, I would all like to wish you a very good day, a very good Spring Sprint, and see you June 10th, I hope. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.